Hello, my name is Lev Nilik, and this is a brief introductory video on our group. We have a WhatsApp group called The Perplexed. And many times when new people join in, they want to know what is the rules, what is this group about. So instead of every time explaining, I decided to make a small video so people can watch it and make their own decision if that's a group for them or not. There's a zillions of groups on WhatsApp, Facebook, whatever these days. And typically, when you think about the group, is the idea behind any group is unite people, get together people who's coming out of interest. Could be a WhatsApp group on fishing, or WhatsApp group on religion, or a particular type of religion. Maybe there's a group on politics of right wingers, and then a group of the left wingers, and no wingers, and whatever, or the group on gardening. So that's one type of group by the interest. Then there's also a groups that are informational group, no chat group. In other words, if you want to know which bus goes to, I live in Beersheba. If I want to know, well, the schedule of buses change and I need to get to Tel Aviv at 11 o'clock. Does anybody know which terminal the bus just changed? Or can I get a Idaho ice cream in Haifa? So those type of questions, just yes or no, where it is, not flooding the group with the discussions, views, opinions. That just informations, no chat. Now our group is maybe a bit unique. We try to get people with diversity of interest, and we try to find not what separates us, but what unites us. But what unites us in our differences. So, for example, in our group, we have people who are dati, religious. We have people who are agnostics. We have people who tend to gravitate towards Karaism, and we have people who believe in Torah, and then people who don't believe in Torah, or they believe the Torah was written by people later on, maybe thousands of years later. So we have people who tend to be on the extreme right politically or extreme left politically. There are people who feel that Donald Trump should be locked up for life or shot in front of a firing squad. And there's a people who think that Donald Trump should be a king of the universe. So there's people who feel that Prime Minister Netanyahu doesn't deserve to be a prime minister. And there's some people who feel, well, that's exactly the guy we need. And the rule here is people are free to express their views and opinions. They are not going to be criticized, shut down, and say, well, if it's become politics for me, I'm leaving. Well, if that's how people feel, they shouldn't be the members of our group. But our only rule is no foul language. Don't call people names. Don't make it personal. Don't attack the person. But you can express your opinion. You can disagree. It's interesting what you said. I like your point of view. Or do you agree? No, I really don't agree. I have a completely opposite view. But I'm glad you share your view. I know how you think. And listen, let's go fishing together. Yeah, we are brother Jews. We love each other. And just because you have opposite opinion from mine, it doesn't make you wrong. It doesn't make me right. It just makes us unique to each other. Another suggestion, or the rule really, is that when you express your opinion a couple of times, and you can say that I think that the world is a conspiracy, and there's a few people around the world, and they all look like snakes and frogs, and I feel that's what's going on here. Okay, interesting. I heard those opinions, conspiracy theory, that the Martians landed and they took over mankind. Very interesting, but you don't have to each time repeat it. Okay, I got it. I know what you think. Very nice. That's your thoughts. Also, if you already establish your political views, we know how you feel politically. You don't need each time to repeat it and tell them, well, I really hate that in Zimbabwe they find the weapons that they're smuggling to Poland and from there or somewhere else. Well, if you told us already 10 times in the last 10 sessions getting together, we already know you don't like this. If you, in the current events, if you feel that Ukraine should be really supported against Russians, and some people think Russia should protect itself from what it sees invasion from the West, okay, you express your view. That's what you believe. Fine, you have a right to believe. So the more diverse our view is, the more we like you as to be in a group. So I'm finding personally, I'm 68, and I'm finding the older I get that what I felt in my younger days as absolutely correct. So I listen to my to the person who doesn't agree with me, and basically just waiting until he or she finished talking, and basically will say, "Well, let me just point to you where you're wrong." I no longer like to do that, and that's kind of, I think, in our group we should also try to abide with this interest. For example, we have every Tuesday. So in our WhatsApp group and the Perplexed, send me a request. Give me a phone call. My phone number is 050-865-0451. Again, 050-865-0451. And every Tuesday at 8 o'clock Israeli time, which is 1 o'clock in the afternoon American time, or I guess what, 6 o'clock, 6 o'clock in London, we get on Zoom and for about 40 minutes, brief, and just chat. And sometimes we just chat. We evolve to become friends, get to know each other, even though politically and religiously we have quite diverse opposite spectrum. But initially there was some friction and butting heads, you will. But once you get to know each other and didn't quit, I guess we're fortunate not to lose the group. We got to know each other, and now we have several people are doctors. One doctor is a Chabadnik. He tends to be quite right politically. Another doctor is a world-renowned professor emeritus in liver specialist, and he is quite left on the political views. They get along just fine, love each other, and respect each other. So maybe that's them calling me. So the ID for the Zoom meeting is 325-804-5811. Again, 325-804-5811. Password 285-775. Again, 285-775. Every Tuesday you can log in and you can chat. We evolved now to a point that we usually open up our Tuesday discussion in English in a brief topic, like we call it 14 minutes presentation, because it's very difficult. And the topics were, those are topics on Kabbalah, basic information. What's Kabbalah? Who is Shimon ben Yochai? And what's Zohar? How does Zohar, is Zohar made up theory by Moshe de Leon, or did it get transmitted from Shimon ben Yochai by Rav Abba? Zohar is by Abba, his right-hand guy, or is it all just twinkle, twinkle, little star? So a lot of information is not easy to summarize to the 14 minutes presentation. Usually people say the short things, it's easy to present, but to take somebody who is expert in, let's say, in a particular brand or branch of medicine, and to present that branch to the non-expert, to your wife or to your husband or to your brother or kids in a simple way, it's always a challenge. So we'll have these meetings on Rambam, on Rashi, on Kabbalah, on gardening. So the topic doesn't have to be, I just use it religious topics as an example. We will talk about other things. And when we debate and discuss it, that's not personal. And I personally believe that we are a minority. How many Jews are in the world? 15 million, roughly. And there's 8 billion people in the world. So we are 1/10%. Already we're minority. So already our opinion is very, very small comparing to the rest of the world. And within this 1/10%, we managed to have 40 religious parties in Israel and so many other parties elsewhere. And we have individual preference and opinions. And that's fine, as long as we can get along and say, well, that's your opinion. Oh, it's quite drastic from mine. But listen, I'm not going to leave the group just because you have a different view. I don't get insulted by the fact that somebody sees the world differently than I do. In many cases, I'm finding that's the right way, is what my friend sees things differently. And when I think about it many times, I find it, Didn't think about it. Another thing also, we try to find, if we talk about, if somebody's presenting the topic, for example, let's say on discovery of electricity. We like to not to present things just from internet. I read it from internet and then I'll tell you about it. And to bring you this um, amazing stories. We need to have some, if you make a presentation, to have some book or reference sources behind it. If we say that Khazaris, let's swing religious now, if Khazari were in the 8th century and not the 10th century, and why the king of Khazaris interviewed the Jewish guy and a Christian guy and a Muslim guy, and he talked about, oh, how did you learn about it? Well, if you learn on the internet, that's maybe not quite as convincing and interesting if you actually read a book and did some study and you quoted such and such Rav or such and such scientist, and that's a book written. Here's a book, and I can show you the book, and then this book and written by such and such person. So we need to get some reference sources, not just internet that you just read, that anybody can just click and say, hey, guess what? I know all about Kabbalah because I look on the internet, and in 5 minutes, I know all about Kabbalah because I learned from internet. If you want to talk about Kabbalah, you should at least maybe have read Zohar or at least some of that. So to have some basis. Sometimes we invite experts or invite somebody to make a presentation to us, somebody who might be, like, say, expert in gardening. And maybe the name of the lecture will be, which is what vegetables or plants to plant in Beersheba, in this desert climate that will work better in a shade or in the sun, or how about Haifa, or how about London, where it's very lush climate, a lot of rain. So somebody who should have some background in gardening says, this is what I've done. Let me share with you guys my experience. Well, that's what we want to know. And then after this 14 minutes presentation, we kind of have discussions, talks, we tell each other who we are. Now, for me, I came from Russia when I was 25 to US, spent 37 years in US. I made Aliyah to Israel with my wife about 5 years ago. But prior to that, we've been coming to Israel for many, many years. My mother lived in Beersheba and passed away about 10 years ago. Have some cousins there. But our beautiful, dear kids, 3 sons, are in Philadelphia, New Jersey, and Atlanta, and we have 6 grandchildren, split equally, 3 boys and 3 girls. We love them dearly, miss them a lot. We wish they were here, but they're in America, and we talk to them on Zoom. We call them. We like to have a feel of the family, which to me, that's the whole Torah is in the family. The next Tuesday, our topic will be, for example, how does the Torah looks on terrorism? Because sometimes we have in Israel, unfortunately, we have issues like that, and well, let's talk about it. And when I was thinking of presenting my view, not what I think, when I think about it, everybody has subjective. I don't like this, so I like it. Let's be careful. Let's not brand everybody terrorists. A lot of good people among Arabs that live here. There's a lot of good people among Jews, and we have some bad eggs on both sides. So that could be a view, but that's your view. Fine, you can share it. But what does Torah say about it? I'm thinking recently I read in Torah tidbits that I get from Jerusalem. Many, I guess you guys read it too. The story by Rabbi Sachs of Father's Love. And it goes back and he links it to the fact when Abraham and Sarah, when Abraham had Ishmael, that's progenitor of the Arabs, the Muslims, and Isaac and Ishmael eventually reconciled. They made peace. And during exile of Hagar and Ishmael, Abraham actually, according to Midrash, used to travel to Ishmael, and they got together and spent time together. Ishmael is known for his hospitality. Arabs are known for their hospitality, respect for the parents, love for the parents, modesty, dress appropriate. So a lot of good things we Jews can learn from the Muslim, from the Arabs, and Arabs can learn things from us. So that's one thing I think Torah teaches us, how to handle that. Occasional situation happens, unfortunately, terrorism. We have to remember that on one hand, we don't want to tolerate this among ourselves. On the other hand, we can say, well, Sarah was not happy with behavior of Ishmael, and she told Abraham to kick him out. Well, he did. He did kick him out, but he didn't entirely shut him out. And I think Talmud says that when you chastise somebody, you have to chastise them with your left hand and pull them in with your right hand. So we have to have a balance between gevura, strengths, and chesed, kindness. And that's the way that I think Torah looks at it. So I didn't answer the question yet, how the Torah looks on terrorism, but it's just one of the ingredients that maybe we can expound on and talk about it. And we have to talk about it without hatred, but with love, even that on the topics that are very emotional and sensitive and difficult for us. We have to find in our hearts strengths. Kabbalah teaches us that every strength, Gevurah, has to have in it itself Hesed, and every Hesed has to have Gevurah. What somebody maybe can come up with an example. How do you express strength with kindness? How do you have kindness with strength? It's just like two extremes. It's quite very interesting. So this is just a discussion. And now my whole presentation, you can say this is just mumbling. You talk about all sorts of things. Well, if that's what we'll talk about in a group, then it's probably not for you. So now you know, you spend 10, 15 minutes watching it, and then you're not going to join that group. Or you think you have something to share. And also, I also feel many of our members of our group, the Perplexed. We started with Perplexed because, Maimonides' Guide to the Perplexed. We are perplexed. The more we know, the more we realize how little we know. In our group, we feel that society, I feel that society is like we bounce to each other. We're like oranges or tangerines. We bounce on each other, and we have a shell, and we hit each other. We don't get hurt that much because we keep the inside of ourselves to ourselves. But if you peel the shell, and if you open the shell, and you no longer have this protection, and then you bounce, and then you walk around without the shell, this is your soul. You're opening your body, so to speak, your bodily logic of the world. And now you have just a shell is off. And you bounce to another orange that has a shell, you can get hurt. But if you bounce to another orange without a shell, then it's soft. You exchange some empathy for each other. The pain shared is pain reduced. So this is what we're trying to accomplish in our group. And everybody contributes. Everybody adds something, not corrects you. You're wrong. This is what you really don't understand. That's crazy. That's ridiculous. Well, might sound to you as ridiculous, but if you think about it as additive to what you feel and believe. That's a perplexed group. So give me a call, area code in Israel, 972. That's the number for Israel, 972. And then 50-865-0451. And I can send you the link. You can join our group, and hopefully we'll all together make a better world. Thank you. Shavua Tov. Today is Monday, November 28th, 2022, the month of Kislev, 5,783, all right? And I'm talking from Beersheba to all my brothers and sisters in the world. With much love, hope to see you on our WhatsApp, to hear from you, and on our Zoom, our Tuesday meetings at 8 o'clock. Shalom.